Hello everyone, my name is Jessie and I'm going to be talking about Mo Zhu's text Against Music. Essentially, I'm going to aim to validate his ideas and how they may have been relevant during the time in which he wrote them, which is around circa 425 BCE. I think Zhu's logic behind why he is so against music makes sense given the context of when the text was written and what was going on in China during this time. He is not one in any capacity to really dismiss music because he believes China's citizens shouldn't be allowed to have a creative outlet, but more or less is aiming to protect them from a potential societal collapse that may follow if music became a focal point of their culture. He was an advocate for the common people and understood that in this time, music was limited to the wealthy who could afford to obtain instruments, master them, and perform them at wealthy musical celebrations. On page 236, we see that he connoted the term music with luxury, which further reiterates his reasoning. As stated, he does not condemn music because it is unpleasant to hear, but that it takes away from promoting the general welfare of the common people. He sort of alludes to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which of course was published far after Zhu's text, by stating that the people will worry about being hungry when there is no food, not having clothes when it is cold, and not being able to rest when they are weary. All of these are baseline needs that are not particularly relevant to the quote-unquote luxuriousness of music. He notes that it is impossible to employ musicians to serve these rulers because it would take them away from their efforts to produce food and clothing. And even if they employed gentlemen to be their musicians, they would still be keeping them from attending to the affairs of the state. Essentially, Zhu is explaining that music is a distraction from benefiting the world as it keeps workers away from their essential jobs. And Zhu is really coming from a perspective of someone in a society that has not progressed far enough to be able to withhold unnecessary activities. Music, or the lack thereof, is not something that will tangibly progress society in the way in which Zhu defines progression. I do find it interesting that he does not attempt to find a balance between the working class citizen's duties and the esteemed leader's ability to appreciate music. Instead, he just aims to abolish music altogether. This is a text that is so rooted in the time that it was written that it may be hard for us as contemporary Americans to fully understand. However, the difference between our society now and Zhu's is enormous. His point, while rather blunt, is truly just an example of how much he wanted his community to thrive and protect the welfare of the common people.